A cargo train service along the Chinese-funded standard gauge railway, one of East Africa's biggest infrastructure projects in half a century. President Uhuru Kenyatta flagged off the inaugural cargo train carrying 50 wagons from the port city of Mombasa, and today will flag off and then ride aboard the passenger service train from Mombasa to Nairobi. Kimani has the story.
Out with the old, welcoming the new. After 120 years on the meter gauge railway, Kenya will now transport its freight on a standard gauge railway beginning January next year.
Indeed, it is a very historic and proud moment, not just for me, but for every single Kenyan, as we begin to see our journey of transformation.
The East African nation is betting on the new line to decongest the port of Mombasa and her roads, while at the same time shorten the journey for both passengers and freight. The standard gauge railway has a capacity of 20 million tons.
The meter gauge is no longer able to fully respond to the demands of this economy and of the region. Its maximum capacity is 5 million tons. Our port is doing close to 30 million tons, and we need a faster, efficient, high-capacity standard gauge railway line. As you all know, 70% of the world railways are standard gauge railway, and that's why Kenya and the rest of the region have moved in that direction.
The $4 billion line stretches for 472 kilometers. The construction of the railway is 90% funded by the China Exim Bank. The Nairobi-Mombasa line is the first phase of the project, which is expected to link Kenya to Uganda, Rwanda, and South Sudan.
So we see this backbone infrastructure making it possible for the entire region to be very well interconnected with a railway network, and that then makes it possible for business people to move their goods and people to travel within the region much more easily, thereby bringing the dream for the East African integration much closer.
The Chinese, who ran the line for 5 years before handing it over to the Kenyan government. Despite complaints over the inflated cost of construction, the Kenyan government says although the line is capital intensive, the benefits will soon be evident for all to see. Kimani, SABC News, Kenya.